NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Woo!
As an adult, don't we all miss spring break? Nothing like taking a week off from all your responsibilities. Well, here's the next best thing for adults, a spring break from house payments. SaveWithConrad.com can help you get rid of all your credit card debt just like that. We're routinely helping our listeners save $5, $6, $7, even $800 a month. And you don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket to do this, but check this out. No house payments for 2 months at SaveWithConrad.com.
Deletion! My skin's dying because you're under it. I'm done lying to myself for this, for all the wonder and believing that it's making me weak. I'll fade away and classify myself as obsolete.
Words are about to be spoken here on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, presented to you by the Podcast Heat Network and AdFreeShows.com. I am Jon Alba, joined as I am every single week by the broken one, the woken one, the spoken one himself, and the victor of the Firm Deletion, Mr. Matt Hardy. You're in a good mood tonight, buddy.
I am in a good mood. You are correct. I am in a very good mood. And today I'm in an even better mood because we're going to revisit that big victory that we just had last week. And you know who I'm going to have in here with me talking about the Firm Deletion?
Might it be the Moan Man himself?
My moan man. My moan man. Come on in here, my moan man.
Hey! Making his return to the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, Isiah Kassidy.
What's good? It's your boy.
But it is so good to see you. You guys are riding high in the aftermath of the Firm Deletion. Team Hardy, the Hardy Party with Hook, defeats the Firm and hopefully rids of the Firm, rids AEW of the Firm for years to come. How you guys feeling? I mean, this is a big deal here.
Good, and I think we really did delete the Firm.
Yeah.
You know, they might stick around just for a week or two, but I think that was basically the end of the Firm. You're welcome, audience. You're welcome.
I feel great. We got this contract. I'm free. He's free.
I
Quinn
feel
is
great
free.
about that. Yeah.
The possibilities after this is endless.
Yep.
Yeah, what's
For
the
sure.
first thing you guys did once you finally cemented you're gone with the contracts? Like, you're totally free and could do whatever you wanted.
Shit, I went to New York and got a chopped cheese. Was they?
Yep. And I went back to my hotel and jerked off.
There's always something just about that first time after, you're super stressed out. You just
You know, smoke. Gotta
It's
wind
a
down,
moment,
relax, and after you bust that nut, you feel me? You gotta get some good sleep. You get some real good sleep. If you know, you know. I don't know if I'm supposed to be that explicit, or you just cut that out.
It's Matt Hardy's podcast.
Yeah, it's all right, man. Yeah, we go nuts here.
And NWA, man. No whores allowed, and that's our only rule. But really, really great to have you on here. What's that?
I thought it's still for something else.
This is a Rebbe Hardy thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. On this podcast, NWA explicitly means no whores allowed.
Yeah.
Per Mama Hardy's jurisdiction. But we're really glad to have you here, man. It's been so great seeing you and Matt and formerly Ethan mix things up there with what was going on with the Hardy Party and the Firm, and now we got Jeff back in the equation. How have things been for you, man, as you guys have kind of gone through this story and you appropriately climaxed it here at the Hardy compound?
Oh, you said climax. You're going to trigger him.
Oh, yeah.
How's it been for you, Zay?
It's been amazing. It's been amazing. We finally deleted the Firm, and we finally got up these bullshit-ass contracts. And like I said, we're free men now. We're free men. So I'm excited for the future.
I think it opens up a lot of potential for, Hardy's running for the tag titles, Hardy Party running for the trios titles. A lot of good stuff, man. It's a very exciting future ahead of us.
We're going to talk a little bit more about this story as we are going to do a watch along of the Firm Deletion, the director's cut, with a very special guest, RJ City, in just a little bit. So, we're going to have a good time with that. But Matt and I, we always like to talk about some of the hot things going on in the wrestling world as things stand. Matt, you guys are on the road to Double or Nothing right now. We got a big Four Pillars match coming for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship at that. That was just cemented this past week. I know you're all about getting the younger talent ready. You got Living Proof right there next to you. What do you think about this Four Pillars match being made official here?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I think it's an intriguing concept, and I'm going to put my money on Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy is my guy. I'd like to see Jungle Boy pull it off.
Zay, as one of the younger upcoming talent in AEW, seeing your peers who are similar age to you or in that general neighborhood and where they are, how much does that push you to try to improve on your game and elevate yourself to that next level?
Pushes me a lot, because one day I do want to be in that spotlight, but my mindset now is whatever I'm given, just make the most of it. And I always want to have at least one moment to stand out, so
Very good.
that was my thought process going into the Deletion match. If I can have at least one moment that they'll be talking about forever, and that's what's gonna, elevate me to newer heights.
I think as in terms of like the wrestling contest, the wrestling portion of that match, your moment was the moment that was the highlight of the whole episode.
Thank you, sir.
When it comes to like entertainment, the stuff with Stokely and like the kids, that stuff was all great too, and just those callbacks were very fun. But like that's the highlight of the actual wrestling action part of the whole deal.
I would agree with that entirely, and we're going to watch it again in full in just a few minutes here. Matt, I did want to ask you, because this was all over the pro wrestling world discourse this past week. WWE went over and did the Backlash show in Puerto Rico. It was an unbelievable scene, an incredible street fight between Damian Priest and Bad Bunny. You and I were talking a bit about it. I'd love any of your general thoughts that you may have on that. Your boy Carlito made a surprise return.
I think him a shout out.
Anything you can add to that conversation?
I want to go back and watch the match because I heard so many great things about it. I was actually working that night of, and I spoke to you a little later on that night. I know you put it over huge and talked about how great it was. And I saw so many outlets saying that should have been the main event because it was, you can't follow that. And having Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico is a pretty big deal in the first place. So yeah, I dig that. And like my wife is a huge Bad Bunny fan. She bought like merch for all the kids whenever they put out WWE stuff for them because she's like Bad Bunny forever, but now he's just such a huge deal globally and internationally. Right. And the fact that he's such a diehard wrestling fan and now he's like excelling in it and he's like killing the game. It's cool, man. It's cool to see. I want to go back and watch that match.
Puerto Rico as a territory has so much wrestling history. From your experience being out in front of those crowds, what is it like as a performer?
I got lots of love for Puerto Rico. Even before I met my wife, I loved going to Puerto Rico back in the day. The first time I went to Puerto Rico, it was one of the most enthusiastic crowds because they still half-assed thought it was real. You know what I mean? Like they were like very invested in what they were watching. They thought like everything was legitimate that they were watching. They were programmed to think like that. So I've always loved Puerto Rico. It's a great island. It's a great place. Big fan of the food on top of all that. But just the people are good, man. And they're just very passionate. I know a little bit about these Hispanic people, these Latinos and these Latinas, and they are very passionate. And that also carries over to the wrestling fans of Puerto Rico.
Well, every other tweet I saw on my timeline during the Firm Deletion was about how lucky Matt Hardy is to have the Baricua at his side in Rebby Hardy.
So no wonder this motherfucker keeps having kids. that girl's thick.
Zay, have you had any of the mofongo?
So, quick fact, I was actually going to tell you about it. I went to a restaurant in Charlotte, and I know you like sushi. Mm-hmm. It's a restaurant called Bocao, right? Bocao owners, if you seeing this, I'm going to need a half off next time because I'm promoting y'all restaurant on the Matt Hardy podcast. Yes, sir. Anyways, it's a sushi restaurant, but it's Spanish style.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and it's cooked. So, like, they have the sushi with, like, mofongo, plantains, guacamole, and steak. That's the one I had. Amazing. But yes, to answer your question, I love Spanish food.
Okay. I need to write that down and visit.
Yeah, bro, if you take your wife there, she's going to love you.
Okay.
Jot it on down there, Matt. You never know when you need those Rebby Hardy points.
I always need those. You can never get enough bonus points when you have a spouse.
Yeah, I agree.
Listen, I want to get us into our discourse about the firm deletion, but you know what I got to do, Matt Hardy? I got to ask you up front, please hit us with the Matt fact.
Matt fact, Matt paid $4,000 for Firm Deletion landscaping.
Damn. That's OD.
$4,000?
That's crazy.
You could have
Oh,
just
yeah.
used Sunday and you could have done it for $109.
No, it was more than that. So my wife had leverage on me, right? She said, yeah, okay, let me explain this. So we have these air conditioning units that are outside that she's always hated, and she's always wanted to get landscaping around. She said, look, I don't want that shit in the shot anymore. She said, and there's a couple other trees that I've really been wanting. Like, I want our yard to look nice. So I'm going to get all this landscaping I've been wanting to get for the last year or so, and I'm going to do it, okay? And that way it's going to look good. It's like, okay, sure, do whatever. I got the bill. It was $4,000. And I think she took advantage of me. I may or may not, be correct, but I'm pretty sure she took advantage of me. She knew I was coming to film, and I said, okay, I'm going to give you the green light. Get this landscaping that you want so that the place looks good. And she got $4,000 worth of landscaping.
$4,000 is crazy for landscaping, but you have a lot of land, though. I will say you have a lot of land. So
she got it done right. I mean, it looked good if you were there. Like, it was pristine. Like,
how long did it take?
everything was clean. Like a day and a half.
She Italian stallion,
A
you,
day and
bro.
a half?
A day and a half.
That's crazy. Does Jeff do his own landscaping?
Yeah, there's the guy who helps us out though. You met Jamie that was there, right?
Oh yeah.
He helps out some too. My wife got hot at him. She was getting hot at him that night too. I think. Yeah, did you see that?
No.
She got that too, man. But yeah, he does some stuff, and he helped Jeff out some too. But like he did some stuff. But there was a company out of Southern Pines who like brought all these new trees, all these new bushes, all these new plants, and they also put pond straw. They did the whole enchilada. They did everything on my yard.
That's crazy.
She Italian stallion, you, bro.
She did. She got me.
Hit you with that wee fee,
You
which
know
turned
what I
out to be a large charge.
mean? Yeah, right. She got my ass.
Now
Welcome to my life, Jon Alba.
It's my understanding that is not the lone fact we have on this episode. I believe we've got a Zay fact. So please, without further ado, Moan Man, hit us with it.
Zay fact: anything over a minute is a marathon. Now you can take that however you want to.
Oh,
Yeah.
Matt, what's your reaction to that?
I mean, as I get older, I don't sprint too good nowadays. I'm more of a marathon guy. Maybe it comes with age. I don't know.
I hope it does. I hope that shit does, man.
What's
You know what I
what's your marathon playlist?
Who, me?
Yeah.
What do you do? A haku?
No, I like the TV in the background. That makes sense.
TV, a commercial.
Yeah, gotta keep my mind off of things, Gotta stay distracted.
You probably get a good commercial in. That's 30 seconds.
Hey, no judgment, man. Some of our other shows on this network are
Hey,
brought to you by Blue.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
It bees what it bees.
You know what I mean? It is what it is. But hey, yeah.
I respect. I'm really glad.
What are you thinking about?
I mean,
that could mean anything. You gotta get your mouth out the gutter.
look,
bro.
I covered a lot of sports. I covered a lot of sports, man. You got the 100-meter dash. That's a sprint. Covered the steeplechase, which is a marathon. Yeah, there's
I
a
could be
lot.
talking about racing. I could be talking about track.
Yeah, man,
all that good stuff.
Don't be trying to slander orgasmic Isiah.
Yeah, bro.
I would never.
Yeah, bro.
I would never. I've been a big private party guy for a long time. Back in the day.
I appreciate that.
Back in the day when you guys were up there working with Limitless Wrestling up in Boondocks, Maine, I was there. Good times.
Good
I've been
times. Shout out,
doing
Randy.
Well, Randy Carver. Shout out to Randy Carver here on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, man. I'm all about that. But Zay, let's break down this little story that we've got going here leading into the firm deletion with you guys. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that Matt and I have really done a good job, kind of, especially on that Ethan Page episode, getting us to this point where we recognize that these were two guys in Ethan and Matt who made the most of something that they weren't really expecting to have in front of them, right? And I would love to know how, from your perspective, this story kind of unfolded and got to the forefront where we were able to get a match like the Firm Deletion. What do you attribute that to?
Matt and Ethan, to be honest. Like, I remember we had very little direction going into this, and it was like a group effort of like, all right, here's what we could do, and here's what we're gonna do. So we use Elevation as the platform to show that. And like, as weeks going by, we would think of it, all right, let's do this week, let's do that. Next week, let's do this. The week after that, we could do this. And then, it was all like a together creative process. And to see it unfold and then to eventually lead to the final deletion match, the Firm Deletion match, it's amazing, man. It's really amazing.
I think, too, even looking back in hindsight, it's like whenever Jeff had his incident a year ago, whatever, I was figuring out what I was going to do. And then I was just trying to be creative within myself. And I'll never forget when I came to you that first time. I said, hey, man, what if we do like a BTE bit where it's like, I want to make things right, but I'm like, hurt me.
Yeah.
Hurt me. I really need to pay my penance or whatever. So we started doing that. And then like the center point of this story became him and Quinn, because they were the people that I cared the most about. Like Butcher and Blade, not really. Like if it would have just been the three of us in the beginning, if it would have been Matt and Zay and Quinn, it would have been a whole lot better than what became the HFO, and it expanded and got crazy. But then anyway, we got back to this, and then like we started this stuff once again off of television, and then we got it back onto television. I remember Tony was half-ass hesitant to put us back together. Remember we had that big battle royal deal, and we did the three-way hug.
Yeah, we pushed for that heavy.
That was in New York. Yeah, we pushed for that. And I just remember when I came, he said, "You were right. It was what a great call. What a great call."
Yeah.
Remember, because the people popped, and it was fucking midnight.
Yo, midnight, bro.
It was,
New Yorkers, they don't care. They trying to be out of there, but the fact that they still stood there and it was like they got up for that moment, which is pretty cool.
So then we had that deal, and now we're back and we hug, and there were the Andrade, and then we want to like go into this angle where, now I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get them away from Andrade, right? Because I got them there. But then stuff happened with Andrade, and much like Jeff, now he's off the board, and he's gone. So then the idea kind of came up that like Ethan and the Firm are going to buy their contracts, and we can continue to move forward with this idea. And that's kind of how we got into this, which is very interesting. Like nothing happened like it was supposed to. And once again, we were just making the most of what we could on the fly, and then even when we started doing this deal, it was crazy because Quinn got hurt. But whenever we started doing those 6-mans with me, you, and Ethan, and then like acting like, that's when things really took off. Because it's crazy. Like we all had great chemistry together, but then when Ethan was being a dick in the beginning, and then we would have these instances where there were these moments and whatnot. And like that one promo that I played a million times where me and Ethan are talking when we come back after we've like embarrassed him. And I do the ego's edge. Like we did that in one take, and it was just like on the fly. It was just such a moment in time. I love that promo. That was awesome.
That was awesome.
But then we had Ethan there, and then like once we start being friends, and we're like, holy shit, like people really like us together. As we're pretending to be friends with him to try and, sway him into getting him into a position to like allow us to get out of our deals with him. And then we're like, we're kind of like, are people going to be pissed off if we now turn on him? Like we wanted to make sure to also keep, it was important to me that we had to make sure we remained baby faces in this and reminded people like, we're not like turning on him now. We're not the dicks in this whole scenario. And Ethan Page is the perfect person to like go out and make sure that he remains the villain in this whole deal. And he did a great job with that. So it was really interesting to how we got to where we got to. Like it's cool because it wasn't done. We didn't have the machine behind us. It was us really working hard on the fly in this group chat, texting all the time, just a brainstorm of ideas and whatnot. And it turned out to be something really, really cool, I think. And I love the way that it culminated in the Firm Deletion.
Yeah, I looked forward to having those elevation matches like on a weekly basis.
Oh my God, me too.
Because it was so fun, and like just coming up with ideas, putting together the matches, it was like a blast too. And I had so much fun. Like I can't explain how much fun I had during those matches. And also too, I felt like during those matches, it really got me out of my shell. It got me, like I told, I expressed to them a lot, like how grateful I am for Matt and Ethan, and because I feel like that little storyline, it made me grow as a performer.
Oh yeah.
And it got me out my shell, and it was a big confidence booster. So I'm very grateful for that. And yeah.
I mean,
it's
you're
always great, too, when like you find something organically that you can lean into, right? Like so many times you're playing pro wrestler as a wrestler, and you're trying to find something. Like you got this great character with the private party stuff. It's a fun gimmick and everything, but now you find this element of your personality that's very real, and like that's your sense of humor, and you're able to bring that out in front of an audience. To see the crowds take to the moaning and some of the other elements that came with that. How'd that make you feel, man?
To be honest, I feel great, man. I didn't think that like they would really be behind it too much, because legit off the cameras, I just moaning like I just started like moaning like out of nowhere, like just out of nowhere. Like I'm moaning my friends' ears, and just like I said, if you watch my vlogs, anyway, by the way, follow my vlog, YouTube, Isiah Kassidy. You can see like a lot of the menace stuff that I do. I'm a real life menace. I'm a troll in real life. So like I was like, yo, let me just bring it to the wrestling world and see what happens. And then that's exactly what I did. That promo we did with Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
That was the first time I moaned. I was like, I'm gonna just moan here. Let's see what happens. Yeah. And then I knew it was clicking when Young Bucks couldn't stop laughing. They just couldn't stop laughing. I was like, oh yeah, I got it. And then when they aired, man, they went crazy on social media. And I was like, oh, shit, this is really me. So I'm going to just keep on doing it. I'm going to keep on being myself. And then that's when the job becomes really easy, because now I'm not really portraying a gimmick. Even though I really be partying, I really be out in the streets, I got videos to prove it. For real. You know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know. The party, it's not a gimmick. It's a lifestyle.
Him and Daniel Garcia are the new Matt Hardy and MVP.
So I've been told.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we be wilding, yo. We be wilding.
Keep in mind, I go way back with DG too. That's I've seen that stuff. That's great though. That's awesome.
My guy.
And Matt, I remember you even telling me it was the promo backstage with Ethan and Zay, where Zay got in his ear and he moaned, and Ethan essentially corpsed, but he put his head down to try to make it look like he was emotional about it. And that's when I remember you even said to me, you're like, man, like we are on to something here. There's something there. To see Zay come out of that shell, how gratifying was that for you?
I mean, extremely gratifying, because it was very important to me. I say this all the time, like him and Mark Quinn. I feel like I'm at that point in my career where I'm investing in younger talent, and they're my biologicals, as I describe them as. So it's very important how well they do going forward. I think that depends a lot on my legacy as far as giving back from that standpoint. So yeah, it's very important. And just his growth was just phenomenal. It was remarkable over that time, especially like you can just see it sometimes, like when a light clicks in someone and they just go from, as opposed to like thinking about the moves they're going to do or like the sequence or, what is going to get a pop or whatever, is the thinking about like the story and like the character and the persona. And you could see a total shift in his mindset when it came to that stuff.
There are sellouts or near sellouts all the time, whether it's in the locker room or at a concert, a wrestling event, whatever it may be. And with our newest partners over at Game Time, you don't got to worry about that, because Game Time is specializing in last-minute tickets with the lowest price guaranteed. Matt, I'm all about our partners here at Game Time, because I wanted to get those last minute, hypothetically, Bruce Springsteen tickets, sir, I'm going to our pals over at Game Time. You're someone that, and I say this with all due respect, I've known you pretty well at this point, you like to kind of push the clock a little bit. You wait till the last minute sometimes to get something done, but you always get it done efficiently. How perfect does that make Game Time for you when you're purchasing tickets for events?
It's a match made in heaven. I was just going to say, if there's anybody in Winnipeg that is wanting to snatch some AEW tickets last minute, Game Time would be the way to go, because it's almost sold out tonight. But Game Time, they can hook you up.
And here's all you got to do. You download the Game Time app, and it's going to show you all the upcoming events in your area. And what I love about this app, and I so mean this genuinely, as somebody who perpetually buys concert tickets and event tickets, I buy them all the time, especially last minute.
Yes, especially Springsteen.
Especially Springsteen, which we are going on 9 shows for this tour. I'm fine. Everything's great. Okay. And Game Time might hook me up with a 10th. Just saying, as we tape this. But what I want to say about this is what I love most that you won't see on most other apps is that you get a view from your seat in most of the cases. You can see, you click the seat that you want to purchase and you'll get a view from that, which is fantastic because that puts perspective on what I'm going to be spending my money on, right? Like that's huge.
Right.
And this is my absolute favorite part right here, Matt. Ready for this? They have something called
Yes.
all-in pricing. And you know a thing or two about being all in and all out.
Yes.
Well, Game Time shows you all-in pricing, which means you click the option, you can toggle it on, and it will include all of the fees right up front. So no more finding a super cheap ticket and then going into checkout and seeing hundreds of dollars of fees added to your order. You see everything added up right in front of you. We love transparency, do we not?
We're all about the transparency here. All about it.
It's one of our biggest things that we promote here on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. The Game Time
Indeed.
guarantee means you're always going to get the best price on your tickets. If you find tickets in the same section and rows for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. This is we're not talking wee fees and large charges here, Matt. We're talking the lowest prices that you're going to find out on the ticket market, and we want to help you out with our friends at Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Hardy for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code Hardy for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. The last time we had you on the podcast, you guys were in a little bit of a different place in your characters and your positioning on the card, and we talked about the video of you doing the Jeff Hardy juke. Well, now Jeff Hardy's not just back, you're actively teaming with Jeff Hardy. What has this experience meant what has this experience teaming with Jeff meant to you personally as the Jeff Hardy super fan that you were growing up?
Well, not even just Jeff, it's both of the Hardy Boys. You know, as a kid, I loved the Hardy Boys, still do to this day. So for me to be teaming up with the Hardy Boys and coming out to the iconic entrance theme song and then doing the dance and going all crazy, it means the world to me. You know what I mean? I can't even explain how much it means to me. It just means the world. That's how I'm gonna leave it as that. But it is so rewarding knowing that. It's so crazy to think too, man. Like I would never in my wildest dreams think I'm about to really be out here doing the Hardy Boys entrance on national TV with the Hardys. You know what I mean? And it's just amazing. Like honestly, if I could, God forbid, if I die tomorrow, I feel like I lived a pretty good life because I feel like I accomplished a lot of my dreams and then some. Next is just championships. But besides that, man, I am legit blessed and I'm very fortunate to live the life that I live. I think about it a lot. Like it doesn't feel real at times, but man, it is crazy. It is crazy. And it's so amazing.
I love to hear it.
Did you ever see yourself becoming part of the Broken Universe?
No, I did not. I did not at all.
Your dog, this shit is crazy.
I did not. But hey, man, when I heard we was doing the Deletion match, I'm like, you know what? Let me try to switch it up. You know, because sometimes you could be afraid of change, but I think change is good.
Oh yeah.
And I want to get on my show, and I was like, yeah, let me just try to change it up a little bit, just a little bit. You know, it's still me, but just a little bit. And that's when Brother Zay, Orgasmic Isaiah, Broken Zay, whatever you want to call him, that's when he was born.
So, Matt, when did we start to get the idea to do a compound match? Take us through this. At what point in this story did you say to yourself, I think we could climax this at the compound?
I remember this. Do you remember back when he said, hey, do you guys think, this is from Tony Khan. Tony said, hey, do you guys think we can continue the story until Jeff comes back? And I was like, oh. And I remember Ethan was saying, too, well, kind of like, I don't know when he's going to come back. I mean, that kind of is like kind of hard to have something open-ended. I said, I think we can try. I think we've got some legs, you know, in what we're doing now. And he said, I would kind of like to do that. And then, you know, you guys could team up again or whatever. And I said, okay, well, let me think about it. And then I remember Sanjay, who would work with us on most of like the elevation stuff. And he was doing he was the guy like overseeing it, you know, from a creative aspect there at the Hardy compound when we shot it. He said, what if we do a deletion match, like for the big blow off? You know, he said, as it sounds, fuck, are you kidding me? I'd love to do that. You know, and at one point we were talking about having me versus Ethan, but then having like Private Party involved, maybe having Jeff involved, whatever it may be. And I do have to give Tony Khan credit for this. He said, what if we did like a big tag match with Jeff? It was his idea initially to do that. So we played around with that a little bit, and then once we got that set up, then he signed off on it, and we're off to the races. That thought probably came in at the beginning of the year, probably like January or so.
As a performer, Isiah, when that is thrown your way, something totally out of your realm, out of your wheelhouse, what was your reaction to the idea of being able to contribute to one of these?
Oh, I thought it was amazing. You know, being at Matt Hardy's house again is always a pleasure. I just knew I kind of had a chip on my shoulder coming to this match. I won't explain why. Maybe later in the future I'll explain why I had a chip on my shoulder. But I just kind of had something to prove going into this match. And I know going to this match that I wanted to have at least one big moment. You know what I mean? And a moment that people remember, even if it's comedy or if it's a crazy spot or if it's very action-based. But I needed at least one moment that people was going to remember. And that's when I was like, I texted Matt. I said, Matt, I want to jump off your roof. And he goes, all right. Nobody ever done it. I said, all right, say no more. I'm going to do it. And then we all kind of made it a group effort to come up with the moaning right before I did the Monton bomb off the dome. That's what we call it now, the Monton bomb.
Monton. I like that. Now, Matt, you've gotten many messages and personal anecdotes from Jeff Hardy over the years where he says, I think I'm going to jump off this. I think I'm going to do that. Did you get that vibe from Zay when he's pitching all these crazy ideas to you here?
Yeah. I mean, it was filled with lunacy, much like, you know, a Jeff Hardy line. He was just, I'm going to jump off I'll jump off the roof. You know, whatever roof it is, it's fine. I was like, dude, like in the center of this thing's like 20 feet tall. You know, it's like crazy. But, you know, we found a suitable place, and it was very tall, and it was crazy. I mean, you look at that shot, and the shot looks pretty intimidating, I think, even when you see it. I mean, if you're up there, I can't even imagine how high it looked when he's up there standing from, you know, his eye line.
So I got a quick note. Sorry to cut you off. So originally, I was gonna do a crossbody, right? And I don't know, maybe you take a guess. Who was the one to persuade me to do a Swanton bomb off? You got a guess? Think hard about this.
Is it someone from your team or someone from the firm or someone outside of it, maybe?
Someone from my team.
Someone from your team? Man, I mean, I guess I would say Jeff was the one encouraging you to do it.
Yeah. At first, I was going to do a crossbody, but Jeff was like, I think I want to do a swanton. And Jeff goes, I think you should do the swanton.
Well, so that way he doesn't have to do it.
He was the master. So I'm like, you know what? Say no more.
Yeah, Matt, we've talked about this. Jeff's got to be smarter when he works. You know, he's learning now.
I'm trying to Brother Nero his ass at every turn. You know?
But that's amazing. And like Zay, Matt and I were actually talking about that last week. Like, you are that guy now who can do these things and showcase yourself and your athleticism and what you're able to do. And it complements what the Hardy Boys are doing very well in that process. And that makes your dynamic so great. And that's the question I want to ask you now, Matt. The dynamic of the 8 people in this match. What about the dynamic made it work, in your opinion?
I mean, I felt like the dynamic was automatically there almost. I mean, between me and Isiah, like the story we've been telling for almost like 2 years now, you know, and then you have Jeff in there. He kind of fits right in as well. And then Hook got to play a really good part. Like the way we kind of Hook ended up being like on our team, you know, even though I was the guy who had to face him, and I set the whole Stokely matchup because of the whole Hook deal. That all worked out, and it was great because it gives Hook a moment to like hang with these iconic performers, the Hardy Boys, you know, and Isiah's doing that as well. So like our team was an interesting mix. If you look at it, like if you just said like, how about the Hardys, Isiah and Hook, you're like, huh? But if you look back at the story, I think it fits really well. And then the firm, they're obviously like this island of misfit toys that were put together by MJF in the beginning, You know, that they were just like on hire. You know, that they would do whatever, and that fizzled out pretty quick. But now that since they've been together, I mean, they were a solid team. And Big Bill, he's one of the best big men working right now. He's so good, and like he's having one of the best runs, especially just in his personal life. He's in such a good space too, so he's killing it doing what he's doing. Lee, I got lots of love for him too, man. I think he's got a ton of potential going forward. Also, Ethan, I am a fan of his mind and the way he kind of takes in the business, the way he sees the business, the way he understands the business and processes the business. I do respect him from that standpoint. And then you have Stokely, who is just like, you know, one of the ultimate entertainers when it comes to pro wrestling.
Zay, I think having Jeff back here is really important for allowing this match to go down as it did. What's been the biggest difference you've noticed in Jeff this time around since when you got to hang out with him last year before everything happened?
What do I notice, man? That's hard. Anything there. You know, Jeff always been quiet. You know, he's always been to himself. I think, I don't know. I can't really answer. I just feel like he's just always quiet into himself. I can't pinpoint Jeff. I can't read Jeff.
I'll tell you, Matt, it almost feels like, even just as the observer, and again, this is just me from the observing standpoint, but it almost seems like he's like nervous. Like he wants that acceptance from people in this attempt at redemption here, where he wants people to understand his path, understand his journey, and he doesn't want to disappoint people. And I think that's very apparent in a positive way, not in a negative way at all. Have you noticed anything of that nature from this run with him so far?
I think he does want to redeem himself to a degree, but also I just think there's a point where he like knows who he is better than anywhere else, better than any other time in his existence, and he knows what he has to do to like do the right thing, you know. So that'll you'll probably see a major difference in Jeff when it comes to that capacity. Like there, you won't catch him slipping, you won't catch him fucking around. You know, he's very business. You know, like, oh, come into this. When he goes out, I mean, he's going to be great, and he's, like, fun-loving and whatnot, but he just is just very serious, and it's just like, when work is done, okay, now I go to my room, and I do this, or I do whatever. I just do what I need to do to, like, stay on this path that I'm on.
You know what I will say, though? Jeff is very disciplined. I remember you were telling me that Jeff goes to sleep early and stuff. So as soon as the match ended, that boy took off. He went home.
Oh, yeah.
He went home, got to bed, did what he got to do. But Jeff always been super giving. Like that's what I always loved about him. Like he's always super giving before and now. Like he's just super giving. Like, all right, what you want to do? Okay, cool. I'm cool with it. He's just a laid back, cool guy, and he's always been that way.
That's awesome.
I'll even tell you this too. Like you're talking about, like being disciplined, and he has been disciplined in the past, but now like he's disciplined on all levels, like especially where he needs to be. But remember when we were in Miami? So
yes, Fort Lauderdale.
We're in Fort Lauderdale, and we're flying. We all flew out of Miami.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I was on that flight. But
yeah, right. That's right, because you went to Charlotte. So we were all in Fort Lauderdale, and then we were flying out of Miami, and like that's when we were coming back to the Hardy compound and like shoot this deal. So Jeff, I talked to him more. We still had to get up early, and I was like, "Okay, Jeff, hey, how's it going, man? You doing all right?" He said, "Yeah, man, I'm just a little tired. I got up at 5:30. I was getting up at 6:30, like to just so we could go to the airport and fly back and shoot this thing, whatever." He got up at 5:30 so he could go do 30 minutes of cardio before, and he does that like every morning. He's up at 5 or 5:30 every single morning.
You know that every single day, Matt Hardy, you take your AG1 and all of a sudden you're feeling like you're in the best human vessel possible. Am I wrong by suggesting that, my friend?
You are not at all. I have had my AG1 today. I got to ask you this, John. Have you had your AG1 yet?
I have, because with one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. It's a special blend of ingredients supporting your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy recovery, focus, aging, all those things. I'll tell you, Matt, I am legitimately dragging with this daylight saving time change, and AG1 helps. Is it hard for you to get going every morning with it?
No, I love daylight savings time. When it's light later, I'm good with it. I'm good with it all day long. AG1s just helps improve my experience.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm taking AG1 to help get me going just a little bit more because listen, let's face the realities here. A ton of people take some kind of multivitamin to start their day. So it's important to choose one with high quality ingredients that your body is actually going to absorb. And AG1 is a small micro habit with big time benefits that you can do for yourself every single day. And it's going to cost you less than $3 per day. So that's cheaper than running out to your favorite coffee shop, getting a chai tea latte or whatever you're putting in your body. It's cheaper than getting all those different supplements yourself. It is an all-in-one nutritional insurance. And we here at the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, we encourage you to join us in partaking and indulging in AG1. It's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutritional insurance. Just one scoop in a cup of water every single day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D. And how many free travel packs, Matt Hardy?
5 free travel packs. Indulge. I love the fact that you use that word. Broken Matt Hardy loves to indulge in AG1s.
I know that he does. You can get that all with your first purchase. All you got to do is visit athleticgreens.com/Hardy. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/Hardy to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. That's great to hear. I thought it was important to have him in this match and seeing him in good spirits and easing his way back into things, especially with the very impactful and emotional ending to this match. I think it's great. Before we watch it, I'll ask you guys this last question here. Matt, now that you've had about a week or so to soak in this thing, Zay, since you've had some time to marinate as well, I mean, what are your honest thoughts on this match, how it came out, and the reception to it?
You want me to go first?
Go ahead.
I loved it. There was like little parts that I wish they still kept in. Like, so after there's one part after I did the Swanton and Matt was like, I knew you'd come, and I was like, I always do. Me and Matt, like, we had like the perfect dap up, like it clicked. Like, it was like, I knew you'd come, and like it was the perfect dap up. I wish they had that. And it's also more little things that don't come to mind right now, but. Yeah, I mean, and the reception been so great, man. It's so great. That's all they talk about is the moan and you know, all the crazy stuff that we did, and yeah, it's been great. It's been great. It's great.
I think I had this picture of perfection about how the match would be if we got to do everything that we could.
Yeah.
But between weather, which is just something you have to deal with and you have to work with it, and then also there were some people that had to be out of there at a certain time. And we didn't shoot as late as we typically did. We moved through this a lot faster than we did a lot of like TNA matches back in the day. Because of time constraints and weather issues, we had to change a lot of the match. And that just made me like second guess, like, oh, it was going to be okay. I think we still did pretty good, but it was going to be okay. It could have been so much better if we would have gotten everything. But at the end of the day, I was really happy with what we came out with. And the response has been so good, you know, especially it has been overwhelmingly positive and also complimented, and people really seem to be entertained by it, which that's what we're shooting for.
I was so nervous, like when we shot it all the way to the day it aired. Like every day I was just nervous, thinking about like, oh man, how is it gonna come out? Because we filmed so much stuff and like we finished real late, and it's always like, man, how is it gonna come out? I really hope we did it justice. And then like what Matt said, we didn't really get to film everything that we wanted to. If we filmed everything that you wanted to, man, man, like you said, like the cameos and stuff that we was gonna have.
Yeah.
If we filmed everything, it would have been. It's still a chef's kiss, but it would have been like 2 chef's kiss. You know what I mean?
Oh, Isiah Kassidy, you've been indoctrinated now because you've been to a late night shoot at the Hardy compound where you're going till 5 a.m. That's how you know you made it in wrestling.
No, that was twice. Okay, so
that's the second time you've been there till 5 a.m. with this. So there you go. Now you've really made it. You've really made it.
I made it.
We've documented here on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, these deletion shoots go a long time into the night. So in terms of like pain, Matt, this was manageable. Just the weather was kind of the only pain in the ass.
Yeah, it was the big thing. I was sore shit the next couple of days after that. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I really was. I think you hit me harder than anybody else on the swan
Yeah,
time.
you definitely saved me.
Like I fucking pounded you going down. It was very impactful. But just between like, I think for me being older, like I'll do stuff like there's a fight and then like I'll take bumps or whatever. It's like, oh, okay, but then like your body gets completely cold.
Oh yeah.
And you don't stay warm. And then you go do more shit and take more bumps and then you rest and you're cold. So that's the trickiest thing. So for the next day, I was sore as shit.
Yeah.
And then I just stretched and everything else. That was pretty good after that, but nothing bad. Just old and beat up.
That was scary. Like for me, when I had to do the swanton, because I was, like I said, it was a cold body.
Yeah.
And I was up on the roof for like a good 10, 15 minutes, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
Just about. And like I'm just like getting a little nervous. Mind you, it's raining. So the roof is slippery. And I'm like, oh man, I'm overthinking myself. But you know what? I feel like everybody in that match wanted to make this deletion match the best possible cinematic match. And that was my mindset going to it. I wanted to make this the best cinematic match. So I was really hoping that we was able to film everything that we planned. And I made sure I brought like 3 energy drinks so I don't go to sleep. And I was up.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We drank so many energy drinks.
Yeah, I wanted to like go out my way to make sure like this is like the best cinematic match, because I feel like with the story that we had going all the way back to September, all the way now to May, I feel like it deserved to be like the best possible cinematic match produced ever. And I wanted it to be the best cinematic match produced ever. I don't know if the fans view it that way, but I think we did a pretty good job.
Well, then I think it's time for us to watch it. I think it's time for us to bring in our special guest. So let's get to it. This is the Firm Deletion.
Fight Plus is the ultimate digital platform for live sports and entertainment, and they're now offering a free 7-day trial at tryfite.com. Fight Plus is packed with a premium live event schedule, over 1,000 hours of live action every year, and a library of more than 4,000 hours on demand, plus exclusive content you can't get anywhere else. Fight is a great partner of ours. They support us, so let's support them. Give that free 7-day trial a shot, and you'll be a member for life. That's tryfite.com. tryfite.com.
Hey guys, Double J, Jeff Jarrett. Need to call a timeout real quick here. I wanted to tell your listeners what I've been telling my world listeners for a while now. It's about all the incredible things happening over on adfreeshows.com.
An all-new edition of The Insiders is here, as Conrad welcomes David Saadi, the man behind so many iconic video packages WWF fans grew up on, including one that left Vince in tears.
You got it. And Conrad, I swear, I walked outside the studio and Vince was sitting down on the concrete floor, crying hysterically, just saying thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. I went up to told Kevin, he says, good job, can't wait to see it. 15 minutes later in the stairwell, Vince is still sitting down in a different spot now, crying, saying thank you. Thank you.
Jim Johnston created the soundtrack for generations of WWE fans, with some of the most iconic themes in history. Jim sits down with Conrad to take us behind some of those classic themes, including The Ultimate Warrior.
And then I recorded that. And then just over that, you're just doing. You know, it's so simple, but that's what felt like him.
Hey, that's just a small taste of what Ad-Free Shows has waiting for you, including a brand new perk, getting to join in on the live recordings of the shows with 4 levels to choose from. See for yourself why Ad-Free Shows is the best value in wrestling today. Sign up now at adfreeshows.com. That's right, sign up today at adfreeshows.com.
All right, Matt Hardy, you got a gaggle of children at home. Now you got a gaggle in your hotel room. It's really.
I do. I can't get away from the gaggles.
You can't get away from the gaggles, but the gaggle has expanded to include someone that I said after the Firm Deletion aired, I'm like, we got to get this guy on because I saw him as one of the most critical minds, aside from the blue verified check marks on Twitter, about the Firm Deletion. He's not afraid to voice his opinion. He's the host of Hey EW. He is RJ City. RJ, welcome to Matt Hardy's hotel room.
Thank you I had to just watch this with everyone in person, and I wanted to feel your energies.
Oh, well, thank you. We're glad your energy's here. And I'm a little bit upset at you because you exposed me.
So this is a different. I feel like usually people
To
are.
a
This is a
degree.
new thing.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Okay.
Because you put. I know Matt doesn't have all his permits, and you call me slipping
Yeah.
because I had permits for several things. I had my drone permit.
Right.
I had my permit for my fireman poles, but I didn't have my permit for the fireworks. I forgot to get that.
Yeah. You didn't have a permit for the dangerous explosive things. That's the one you
Well,
forgot.
yeah, I did forget it.
So
I mean,
you really-
it would
really mad at
always
yourself.
clear. I'm a very loyal, licensed guy,
Mhm.
but I just forgot to do it. So
Yeah.
you called me out on it, and you got me busted.
Well, hopefully the town doesn't follow me on Twitter.
Hopefully they don't. Hopefully Cameron, North Carolina, with his 302.
Are you in it all
Members.
with the government there?
Oh, of
He is
course. I
the
run,
government.
I run
He
the
is the
city.
authority.
I run the city. True story. We were shooting Apocalypto, a tag team match, and we went downtown in Cameron, which isn't a big deal. It's like there was a hardware store and there's a gas station, and we were fighting. We were going crazy. We were throwing stuff, and a cop pulled in and put his lights. Woo, woo, woo. He said, "Is there a fight? What's going on?" I said, "We're just working on a wrestling show, officer." I said, "Everything's fine." He said, "Oh, you're Matt Hardy, right?" He said, "It's okay. Carry on, gentlemen." And he just drove right the fuck off.
Wow. What a negligent officer.
You know what happened if they stopped me?
Oh yeah, you being a slammer. They'd have your ass in Rikers.
Yeah, they would have put me.
We had reports of moaning.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh shit, man! I'd have got you out, man.
Big time pop. Big time pop. Big time pop. Oh boy, howdy. Things are off the rails. We're gonna watch the Firm Deletion because we've got AEW's biggest critic in the room, and we're going to break it down scene by scene. We've been talking a little bit about the lead up to it on this episode, but now we've got RJ here, and with the liberty of having the Firm Deletion pulled up here, we'll be able to pause it and we can go audio up for different things, and we're going to break it down. And RJ, if you have anything that you'd like to interject with, please do not hold back by any stretch.
I'm usually the quiet one. I don't speak out of turn.
Okay.
I got to say, this really isn't the AEW Firm Deletion. This is more of the Hey EW Firm Deletion, I think.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, it
I like
might
that.
be. Yes, and I would love to come to your compound.
I can't wait. You'll be there in the sequel.
I do want to say
You'll be there in the sequel.
I did throw this out. Nobody filters information to me. Nobody tells me when things are. But I did say, boy, I would have loved to do like an on the scene, just like a walk through the compound.
Oh my God, you could have done interviews there all night. It was
Yeah.
just because it would have been great. There would have been plenty of time. That would have been great. You would have been great there as just the host. You should be the host of the next deletion match. The
Fine
host.
by me.
That'd be great.
Who do you talk to? Who's in charge?
Me.
Okay.
I knew RJ had nothing to do with it because there weren't enough like Ethel Merman references in the Firm Deletion or something like that. So that's why. So RJ and Zay are watching this with Matt. Gentlemen, my only request to you is if you got something to say, just move a little closer to the screen so everyone can hear you, because we're trying to filter in 3 people into one microphone there in the hotel as you guys are there in Detroit for AEW Dynamite. Are you guys ready to watch the Firm Deletion Director's Cut?
Yes, quite some
See.
time now.
All right, let's get to it. Here we go.
You never watch your matches back.
No, I'm not a mark.
So now we didn't get as much of this stuff in the version that aired on TV. We saw part of this, but this is them driving to the compound. Matt, tell us what's going on here.
They are flying, speeding, I'm pretty sure, down Atkins Road, driving to Boys Camp Road to head to the compound. So, and in the car, they're talking shit with one another. Then all of a sudden, here you see Lexi Nair, who is the roving reporter who is actually on the scene and introducing a couple of North Carolina legends.
And also an excellent pants choice by Lex.
Yes.
RJ, thoughts on seeing first name Sham, last name Payne here?
I have heard of this man for years and years and years, and I'm finally so happy that he showed up in AEW.
He is AEW canon now, Matt. I told you he didn't even need his gimmick idea either.
Yes, you're right. Marty Garner is all elite. You're just waiting on the graphic.
You know, people don't
With
talk
bated
about
bear.
how difficult it is for Ethan Page to drive with wrist tape. You don't have the flexibility you
You're right.
really have.
It is tricky with your wrist. Yeah.
What's this here? Is this a gimmick mailbox, Matt, or did he just shoot destroy your mailbox?
He shoot destroy my mailbox.
They actually had real life mail in it.
And it did have real mail in it.
And why didn't you get your mail? This is kind of in the evening. Why haven't you gotten it?
Well, I will kind of fill you in on stuff. So something happened and someone did hit our mailbox. So our mailbox is damaged. So I said, fuck, we might as well go ahead and destroy the mailbox. We've got to get a new one anyway. And I just didn't even realize mail was in it that day.
It's one of those insurance scams.
Yeah, I now realize why it's so hard to get stuff delivered to the Hardy compound, because they have a destroyable mailbox.
We actually have a mail house. So we have two things. We have a mailbox. We're a very sophisticated property here. And then we have a mail house, which is a big 4x4 box, which they put packages in. So if it doesn't go in the mailbox, it goes to the mail house. They know. We smartened up all the Amazon Prime, all the UPS, all the postal service people. They know the deal.
Now, do you think Ethan Page has bat heat from other people in AEW who are known to use bats?
Probably. He probably has heat with Floyd.
Right.
Floyd is another. And Sting, too.
Yeah.
Sting uses the bat sometimes, right?
You can really make a soft cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have at least 3 players. We have 3 home run swingers.
Let's see what broken Matt Hardy has to say about the Firm showing up at the compound here as Ethan Page destroys him.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Look at that. Vanguard 1, reincarnated.
You'll learn very soon that space and time works differently here at the Hardy compound. Your lives are about to flash before your very eyes.
Space and time? What the hell does that even mean?
Come on, man. Space and time. Have you been following the Broken Universe?
RJ, what do you think about this time jump here?
Well, first things first, I want to point out Big Bill's Telly Savalas tribute with the lollipop in his mouth. I think it's a really nice Kojak choice. I think that's
Kojak.
Really excellent, number one. Number two, it's nice to see the Vanguard back.
Yes.
Maybe Vanguard could be doing more things. Maybe he could roam the halls of AEW. I do like it. It is really like a Twilight Zone.
It is. It has a little Twilight Zone rolled into it.
Yes.
And very interesting. So we were told going into this that Rampage was going to be in its regular time slot, which is 10 p.m. But lo and behold, we found out at one point it's going to be on at 5:30. And it ended up being at 6:30. So we kind of need to start in the daytime, I feel like, to try and keep continuity. So Vanguard decided this was a creative way to make it night and kind of freak these guys out.
Zay, is this your first time meeting Vanguard 1?
No, I met him at the last one with Sammy, right?
I don't think he met Vanguard.
We never.
This was the first time I met.
Also, what you guys don't know, or what you probably didn't see, it was raining. It was raining.
This is the first time that there's ever been a deletion match where we had to deal with the weather, and it was raining throughout the night.
I thought it was cool. I thought it had like a cool effect to it. We was fighting in the rain in the woods.
And we'll get into some of the things that may have been cut from this, but we have the Firm is a little freaked out by this change in space and time. Lee Moriarty, I feel like kind of a subtle player in this, but hit some really good story beats throughout this, and there he is.
This is your traditional Roman candle?
Oh, yeah, it's the biggest one you can get.
Yeah. And you get them all from a guy on the side of the road?
South of the border.
Okay.
We like to do business from south of the border.
Fair enough.
We have, loyalty cards and whatnot.
Yeah.
We bought quite a bit of fun.
There's Hook eating chips.
He just woke up. He was asleep. He was asleep by the tree. Hook, he's a little nonchalant sometimes. So he was asleep and he woke up, and he was a pretty good shot with the works of fire.
At first, we found him by the pool, and then he just migrated to the tree. It's crazy.
Yeah, at first he was sleeping by the pool, and then he just magically started sleeping by the tree. It's crazy.
Huh.
it just bothers me to have to be in a forest, like at all. You know, even if I was going for a hike, I would be equally as upset.
So does this look very foresty to you?
Well, yeah, if I fell down, I would get twigs on my back and things like that. You know, grass, mulch. Do you have any mulch?
Oh yeah.
Yo, they did
That's
us
much.
chain wrestling in the woods.
Yeah.
First time ever.
A couple of technicians.
Yeah, how do you feel about the amount of like technical wrestling and brawling in this match, Matt?
It was different. This was a little more catered towards what an AEW audience wants. You know, I think we were trying to walk the fine line between the entertainment of the, you know, traditional Hardy compound matches and also trying to give a little more athleticism, a little more fighting style in these matches as well.
May have noticed a dragon sleeper from Hook onto Lee Moriarty in the middle of the woods here.
And now, why the two refs, besides the fact that you're friends with them?
Well, if guys split off
Right.
and fight one another, you're going to need other refs. Well, the reason we had those two refs is because it was fuck Ethan Page Day.
Right.
Because Ethan had screwed me and him and Mark Quinn over for so long. So this is finally my opportunity to get him back.
Yeah.
So it was fuck Ethan Page Day.
You celebrated real good too.
Yeah.
Zay,
I feel a better guy.
Big Bill's a monster, man.
He is. And you got to keep in mind, too, Isiah had just been through a lot already because he had been chokeslammed onto the concrete floor, you know, a week ago on Rampage.
I have to get dry needled and everything to actually be prepared for this match. So
And I just got chokeslammed on the ground.
Yo, that shit hurt. It wasn't no pad.
That was just
that shit took the wind out of me.
Can you also speak to how much more things hurt when there's no audience?
Yeah, of course it makes it a lot tougher. I mean, and you know, when it's in the middle of the night, it's one of those things. Hopefully, adrenaline gets you through. That suplex was brutal on both of us. I think. You guys come up a little more, talk a little louder.
Yeah, we want to hear,
Audio.
we
You
want
guys
to
want
hear your lovely voices. Matt, you're going right after Ethan Page here. Lots of teasery to the twist of fate.
Yes. And I thought it was very appropriate that myself and Ethan, you know, we locked horns right from the beginning and we fought all the way through to the end because at the core of this issue, a lot of it was about me and him.
What are the rules?
The rules are there are no rules and
Right.
anything goes. And the first person to get a pinfall wins the match.
Well, I mean, that's a rule then.
Yeah. But I mean, like, there's no rope breaks.
Right.
There's no, you know,
Yes.
none of that horse shit. No 5 counts.
And this is a barn you have?
This is the dilapidated city.
Okay.
Is the name of this technical area
Yes.
on the 96 acres of property, you know, that we have. This is actually where,
I'll pause here.
to give a little backstory, this is actually the house that my grandparents built when they first moved to this property in the late 1800s. So my father was born in this house in 1934.
And your grandparents did what?
They were farmers.
And do you think they would be proud of you or confused?
Oh, they'd be very proud. If they saw the checks that have come in
Right.
throughout the years, they'd
Yes.
be very proud. Much better than working on the farm now.
I think your grandfather would have had a permit.
Yeah. He probably would have had a permit for fireworks. You're right. Yeah.
Now, how far are we from the pet cemetery, Matt?
This isn't far from the pet cemetery right here. We actually wanted to get a shot in the pet cemetery. We did this a little earlier in the night. We had a whole nother ring that we had rented and set up outside of Jeff's. And Jeff spent 5 or 6 hours cleaning briars out of the ground. And he put a whole turnbuckle that was a briar turnbuckle. And he actually posted the video up on social media. And he said, like, well, I'll take a bump into it, which is crazy. I mean, it was like it would kill you. Like, and he built this like a psychopath, you know, but because it was raining so hard later in the night, we ended up doing most of the shoot inside the Dome of Deletion, which is my building, as opposed to at Jeff's place. We were going to do something by the lake. We were going to do something by the Land of Obsolete Men, which is the pet cemetery, and also the ring that was at Jeff's place, which he'd set up. And unfortunately, a lot of that stuff ended up changing as weather persisted.
It's a legitimate pet cemetery, RJ.
I gathered that. I felt like you wouldn't cremate a cat or a dog. You would bury them.
Oh yes,
You would
he's
do a little
big
ceremony thing.
on
Yeah.
that. He's a big animal person,
Yeah.
so he has several burials out there.
I do want to take a noble moment and mention the fine crew that captured this all.
Yeah,
Who was it? Giancarlo?
Giancarlo, Zane, they were kind of running point.
Yeah.
Sanjay was there, kind of
Yes.
heading up the operation. We had some light guys that they rented. They moved a little slow, like when we were doing the fire. That very last shot we did, which we'll see at the end of this, it was tough because it was raining and it had been raining, so it was very wet. And like that fire, Jeff had charcoal in the symbol out there, the new Hardy
to get it to go.
Yeah, to get it to go. And Jeff and I were like running, doing gas. And you should tell the story about Jeff when he had his cycle moment, when he said, "No, it's not high enough. No, it's not high enough."
Oh, so like, we're chilling in the back and we see Jeff trying to light up the symbol. So he has the gasoline tank and he's filling it up, and then we see it on fire. So we're like, "Jeff, it's on fire. Stop, Jeff, it's on fire." And he proceeds to continue doing it.
He said, "It's fine, guys. I've done this 100
Like,
times."
"Jeff, it's on fire. Jeff, it's on fire." And he keeps on doing like, "Yo, this guy's crazy."
He was
Jeff
just
Hardy?
doing it, dumping it, and he could see like the flame coming up to the thing.
I think I
We're like,
actually
"Stop! It's enough! It's enough! It's
Are
enough!"
we talking about the same Jeff Hardy here? That guy's crazy? You're telling me?
Surprise.
Shocker. Let's keep going here. We see Jeff taking it to Big Bill.
I did. I have to. Yes, it's mandatory when you're a fossil like me.
RJ, what about that shot right there, Big Bill?
And do you go through your grounds and say, that's a good branch to choke someone with? Let me put that aside.
This may have been just on the fly. I think they just called it out there, brother. I think they were working.
Yeah, and they're in nature,
Oh, here we go. Remember that? That's when
And
Stokely
look,
got.
there's me. So I did make
Oh
an
yeah, you
appearance.
did. You did make an appearance. That's right. Look at this.
And this is Kawasaki? What is this thing?
Yeah, it's the Kawasaki 10,000. Look at those, that
Talking about
hair.
not having your permit.
Look at all that hair in there.
Matt, was that a callback to the Sammy G stuff?
It was, yes. This thing was like brutal on that shot, like that was like brutal on him, and like just that stick. I don't know what Big Bill picked up, but it was very hard and very stiff, and it nailed Jeff.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
She nailed Jeff?
No, it's like a term, like from The Office.
Yeah, but she nailed Jeff. She said,
So now we're back to me and Ethan. We'd had this deal going on earlier on. And see, some of this action that you're seeing in here probably would have been taking place at the ring over at Jeff's with the insane Briar in the one corner, the Briar turnbuckle.
But because you have so much fuck you money, you've just got another ring at your disposal.
Yeah.
is this a you ring? Were you the architect of that ring?
This is my ring. Yes, this is a ring. I bought this ring back in 2006. I built this building at 6,000 square feet just because I thought like I should have a ring and I want to have a building that I could train people in and have a gym in because I'm a fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
So yeah, I built that in 2006. But yeah, I'm glad we had it. It led to some cool moments in the Broken Universe.
Have you ever had thoughts of getting a wrestling school?
I have. That's why I initially built it. But now that I like actually am not single, Matt, and I'm married, Matt, and I have a wife and kids, I wouldn't want, a wrestling school at my home.
So now we're getting some like actual wrestling here between Hook and Lee Moriarty too.
Yeah. And that I think that was kind of always the play with those two going in, which is something different. We've never had two guys that are like two solid technical wrestlers doing their thing like that on the Hardy compound.
Was Hook resistant to participating in this?
Oh no, he was excited. He was pumped about it.
He's not the most metaphysical guy, He's the grounded one.
Yeah, he is the grounded one. You're right. Yeah, this is a lot of over the top personality in these things too. That's the things that come off.
I will say, Stoke and Hook seem to be the most appropriately dressed for a dark, rainy evening.
You're right. They were good. At one point, my wife said when she saw Hook, she said, "Who is that? The Invisible Man?" Like, because he's all the way covered up. She said, "How's anybody gonna know who he is? You can't even see him."
Stokely has bailed out, by the way. We
Yes,
saw him run out. There's the mower of lawns.
I was trying to get him there, and he just escaped at the last second.
And that casket in the back came from where? Just have it just in case.
Well, I purchased that casket so the Young Bucks could bury me, so we could bury Zenith, my old Essence, and I could be reborn as Damascus, a new Essence.
Right.
So that's why I have the casket.
But also,
That's crazy to have a casket as a property. That is insane.
think of
Damn, Champagne got it.
if I may be morose, when the day comes and you pass away, hey guys, you can save a lot of money on the casket.
Just put me on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're gonna
that's
save
good,
10
yeah.
grand.
Yep, that's perfect.
It's funny for as willing to drop copious amounts of cash as Matt Hardy is. If he can find a good bargain, he's not passing it up either.
Oh, you're damn right. It takes a frugal person to collect a lot of money.
It's true.
Here, Champagne, he really wanted to take the the Ego's Edge. That's really what he wanted to do. But we had to minimize his bump a little bit so he could come back at the very end.
And he's on a tier 1 contract?
No, not yet. He's on a pay per.
Someone's got to talk to Will Washington about that.
Yeah. We'll talk to him about Champagne. The legendary Champagne.
I saw Twitch sell there for Matt Hardy.
Yeah. I was inspired by Devon.
Of course.
Channeling my inner Devon.
Comes Caprice Coleman. Pretty regimented count there from Caprice.
Yeah, it was fair.
RJ, who's your favorite Omega guy?
Oh my, I'm a Wisp man.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I always liked a good Wisp because that's a word that you never hear in wrestling. Otherwise,
You're right. Okay, well, I'm going to give you a spoiler, but I'm not going to give you a spoiler. There was going to be a Willow cameo in here, and it would have been hilarious because you know what it was. But we didn't get to do it because of time constraints and weather. So we'll just save it for the next time. But yes, there was going to be a Will-O-Wisp cameo at one point.
Well, we can't have two Willows, pal. People will get confused.
Of course, we're not going to have two.
Can't have two in AEW. Can't have two Shanes, two Willows.
We can't have two Hardys on the same show.
Can't even have two Hardys. That's why we got Collision starting.
That's it, right?
really,
That was a quote from Vince McMahon. He told me that whenever Jeff was getting the big push in 2003. I said, "I'm ready." I said, "I'll go in there." He said, "Look, I'm gonna book you on Heat. We're gonna keep you strong." He said, "But we can't have two Hardys on the same show. People are gonna get confused. They'll get confused."
yes.
Okay, so I paused it here because now we have
from the opera establishing shot.
the establishing shots. Let's talk about the aesthetic here, RJ. How are we feeling about the mood setting?
I'm feeling good. You know, there's almost an essence of romance here. But in the beauty, but you are one of those, this destruction is beautiful kind of people.
I am, yes.
Right?
A beautiful war.
Yes.
I'm a fan of a beautiful war.
Yes. So I think this is a good precursor. You go, the mood, to quote Taz, unfortunately, the mood has changed here.
Right.
And you go, is there a sensual? Is someone going to get a massage? You don't know what's going to happen. So I think it's an inspired choice.
It's so funny you said Phantom of the Opera, too. That happens to be Queen Rebecca's favorite movie.
Really?
Yes.
But so this is my issue with Gerard Butler one where he just yells instead of sings.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, she liked the musical more than anything else.
Yeah.
She's a big Broadway
I've
person.
seen the musical 10 times.
Yeah.
My issue with the Phantom the movie is that Gerard Butler is attractive.
Okay.
Who cares? I want my Phantom to be old. I want him to be creepy.
Right, yeah.
Because, otherwise tell him to keep the mask on and then I'll have sex with him. Who cares?
There you go, yeah.
Yeah. Do you
Leave
know
it-
about the sequel?
I don't.
Does she know about the sequel?
I don't know if she
It's the
does.
biggest piece of shit I've ever seen. And
Oh,
I'm going to
really?
send you a series of links tonight.
Oh, great.
And it's going to ruin your whole thing.
It won't ruin mine. It might ruin hers. I'm not invested, brother.
I'm going to go audio up here because I feel like there's a pretty pivotal moment in the Firm Deletion.
Yes. Stokely's been running all night long.
Maybe there is one there.
Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Matt Hardy got these cheap ass snacks. Yeah, this is what
No,
I'm talking
please.
about. This is
No,
what I'm
please.
talking about. Let's see if he got coming to America. She's my queen to be. Whoa, what the hell going on?
This is about to be the best day in the life of a gothic baby.
What the hell? Gothic baby? Hey, meet me. I'm Gothic man. What you gonna do?
So that is the part of this that I feel like the internet was blowing up over Gothic Baby's AEW TV debut.
Right.
How did this all come to be, man? I mean, look at that look right there. That is horrifying.
Yeah.
I'd be scared shitless.
That's a creepy little baby.
And Gothic Baby is on the tier 1 contract.
Yeah, no, she's still on a paper right now.
Do you explain anything?
The only
to
one
this
on
child?
the only one on a tier 1 is Maxwell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Congrats. Do you explain anything to the Gothic Baby?
No, she's not. Well, I mean, she kind of gets it.
Yeah.
She was very playful. It was hard to get her in character,
Yeah.
but we eventually did. She does. She has that look where she's just like, I don't give a fuck about all this. You can tell she's like her mother's daughter.
Yeah.
She just goes like, I don't give a fuck about all this. But then, then there's times where she's obviously very happy. So this came to be where I just thought a great callback to the old days of the deletion matches when the Hardy compound first became like a character in the whole Broken universe. It was around the kids, basically King Maxwell, then Queen Rebecca, Senior Benjamin, Vanguard One. I said we need to like pay homage to all those, homage to all those old characters, and really really bring them back up, give them a cool cameo in this deal. So that's where this came from, and there was no pushback from it at all. So I literally like wrote up what I would like to do, and we did it. We shot it, and it was on.
Now, Zay, you as one of Matt's biologicals, you know that you are taking on the mantle from him one day. Like it's getting passed down to you. But with the age difference between you and Gothic Baby, you may one day find yourself in Matt's current position with you, where you have to kind of be the guiding light for Gothic Baby and her siblings here.
Oh yeah.
Did you guys lay the groundwork for that this past weekend here when you shot this thing?
Only for Maxwell.
Okay.
Me and Maxwell talked about it. I kind of told him what's going to happen in the future. Gave him some creative about future plans, and I got an idea of what I want to do 20 years from now, 10 years from now. So
See,
stay tuned.
He's not a stepfather. He's a father who stepped up.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
RJ, what do you think of the Gothic Baby phenomenon?
I think it's incredible. I think you should exploit this child for all she's worth. Gothic Baby shirts, Gothic Baby cartoon.
It's already coming.
Let's go.
It's all coming.
Yeah.
It's all.
I think Matt's being facetious, but just wait.
No. I mean, there's a lot of Gothic Baby products coming out, which is wild.
It's crazy.
Let's keep going here. NWA.
What you say about my mama? Huh? I don't know what you're saying, but I take it as a sign of disrespect. And guess what? What? I'm not gonna tolerate it.
Oh, and
You
what you
say
gonna
you're-
He likes to get that shoulder, man. He gets him right in the
Here
clap.
come the Baby Hardys.
Now,
Go ahead, RJ.
Well, does Remy often use the pole in like everyday life?
She likes to stunt with it when people come over. She'll stunt.
It's a showpiece.
Yeah. She'll stunt with it for sure. Let me tell you what. Maxwell was so upset that he didn't jump over the couch in that cut. You know what I mean? Because he went like to jump up on it where he was gonna like pounce on Soglini, like, oh shit, I'm down. I said, brother, you did good though. You just kept rolling with it. And that's what's so funny. Because I'm sure, like to you can see, like you can actually have a conversation with Maxwell now, which is so funny.
I got a bone to pick, Matt, with this shot here, and it's something we see throughout the scene. Wolfie is corpsing this entire time. We're seeing him laugh throughout this entire scene.
Wolfie's like going to be a real life Joker, which, like in a psychotic way, he's going to be crazy to a degree. Like, for instance, I know you saw that one piece we did, which we didn't talk about this. They were just saying a couple ideas. Maxwell was saying ideas about what he would do for Gothic Baby. And then, like, we all sat down at the table, and I said, you should film this, and you should have them in there. She said, okay, well, you can be in it, too. Like, we're having a creative meeting. What to do for Gothic Baby? And, like, Wolfie was saying all this dark stuff. He said, I think then she gets candles and then she burns their hair off, and they do this, and then she grabs a knife and she starts to cut Dada's head off.
Oh my God.
That's right. And I just started laughing. I was just like, I'm going to give him a code like Harry Morgan. I'm just trying to keep him from being Dexter. You know what I mean?
I understand.
And I think there's a part of him, like, he saw the Joker. He saw Heath Ledger's version of the Joker, and he was enamored with it. He thought it was great. And he painted his face like that and did that. Like, why so serious?
What are you doing? You don't have parental codes on the TV? You don't put them in front of the Wiggles or anything?
Well, they have plenty of cartoons they like, but there's these rare times when they might run into something. I was telling him all about the Joker, and I showed him some just online. He was like, "Oh, I like that guy. I like his makeup." He likes to like paint up his face like Tio. He said when he wrestles, he thinks he'll paint his face up like Tio. I said, "I don't know. I want you to follow the good Tio and not the crazy Tio."
RJ, as someone who's a very serious professional wrestler like yourself,
Yes.
what is a good piece of advice you can give to people who may have difficulties with corpsing on camera and stepping out of character and maybe smiling or laughing when they're supposed to be serious?
I think they should just shame themselves internally. I think that always helps me.
Yes.
You idiot, you moron, just to yourself, silently. Think of something horrible happening, and that usually evens you out.
I'm going to unleash on Wolfgang as soon as I get home.
Thank you.
Take your advice.
I do one small criticism in this scene. The live music sign is a little generic.
John, it was John Carlos. I did a plug it in.
That's like the RC Cola of neon signs.
Yeah, right.
I don't know, man.
Him tomorrow.
Well, that's good. That's a good criticism for my wife. You can take it up with her. She put the shit down there. I don't do any of the decorating.
Never mind. I love the sign. It's a great sign.
I just fork out the money. I just fork out the money and pay the bills.
It's a great sign, by the way.
Much like the Matt, like I said earlier. I mean, I just fork out the money and pay the bills, brother.
Stokely is the star of the scene. Let's keep playing here.
Y'all some badass kids. You know that? Instead of Bebe's kids, it's damn Hardy's kids. Y'all bad as hell. Damn, y'all whooping my ass. Come on. Ow, ow. Damn, y'all really whooping my ass. Yes. Tony Khan will pay for his crimes. I think I'm bleeding in the chest.
Zay, a guy like Stokely is made for this, isn't he?
100%, man.
Yeah.
100%.
Did you teach your kids that, like, Donkey Kong ground and pound?
I just told them to hit him as hard as they possibly can. I mean, that's all. That's the only real advice I could give them. Try and hit him as hard as you possibly can. He'll be fine.
That's what Austin told you, right? You come out swinging.
Yeah, come out swinging.
And now, where did the third ref come from? Why did we not?
We have 4 refs.
We have 4?
Yeah,
So
because-
who is that? Steven Smith?
But because it was, we have Stefan, we have
Yes.
Mike Posey, we have Marty Garner, and we have Caprice Coleman.
Now, Ethan has, well, it seems like he has some devious plans here. But I did notice, Matt, that you guys are down a person here. I'm curious where said person went.
I can tell you right now, I went to the Lake of Reincarnation. So before we filmed, Matt showed me where the lake was, and I was cooked. So I went to the lake.
We got to keep in mind, last Rampage, if you're following the story, he got choke slammed to the concrete floor. So he's coming in selling already. And now Big Bill has already driven him into a pine tree twice and then choke slammed him on the ground. So obviously he's already going into this, all crippled up.
Cooked.
He's cooked. So I showed him where the lake was. I figured he was going to need it at some point, and lo and behold, he found his way into the lake.
Now, should we have shown that, though, on camera, that he was going into the lake?
Well, I don't know. These people that are so critical of wrestling, they may have got hot if he came out in a different outfit.
RJ, thoughts?
I'm trying to walk a fine line here, John.
That's a good point. Any thoughts, RJ?
I would have wanted to see the lake. I've been always pro lake.
Are
Wrestling
you kidding
is not,
me? I'm the man who played Broken Matt Hardy. I want the lake in every single fucking episode.
I would just like a straight up boat match on the lake.
Yeah.
2
RJ,
dinghies going at it.
If you went into the Lake of Reincarnation, who would you come out as?
Well, I asked Matt this question when he was on Hey, and he
Yeah.
said Dalton Castle.
Yeah.
Which I think is
right.
I think there's a light and a dark, between the two of us.
Who's the light?
He's the light. He's
Oh,
happy
oh.
to do anything. No. My ultimate dream though, if I did go in the lake, and I'm pre-booking this,
Yeah.
Paul Roma has to come out of the leg.
I love that.
Yeah.
When you said the Paul Roma appearance, it almost makes you want to book him. Paul Roma's still around?
Yes, he's in great shape. He looks good. I'm an advocate. If I can use this platform for anything, it's to push for Paul Roma to get more work.
I would do it. I would get a bat for you.
All right. Well, let's go audio up here and let's give Zay his moment.
Let's do it! The firm has lost its mind here. What? No, they can't. No! Brother Zay, the swan's out off the deletion dome! Orgasmic Isiah, I knew you'd come.
Always do, my brother.
So a lot to take in there. Let's break it all down. Well,
just reminds me, so like it's just like a cooler version of like Shaft and Omar combined. You know,
You know what's crazy? So when I did that scene, everybody kept talking about Shaft. I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't know who Shaft was. So I when I went home that Friday night, I watched Shaft and I was like, okay, I get it, because my idea was to be like Blade.
Mm-hmm.
That was the idea I was going with.
Yeah, there's some Blade in there too.
Yeah,
for sure. So now for a shoot, legitimate. This is not that fucking bullshit like Jared said. Oh my God, the fucking ladder's 27 feet tall. Oh my God, Jeff Hardy's going to break in half. That was 15 feet high where he jumped off of.
Oh shit.
So whenever you go to his height, I mean, his eyes are at 21 feet high looking down. It was raining at this time right here. It was like misting. You can't see that on camera, but it was slick. And I mean, there was a big debate. Do you remember what I told you about after you hit and everybody went down? About what to do? Do you remember as we were talking?
You just said get hyped, right?
I said, just get hyped. This is your moment. You're the fucking biggest star. You're the only fucking thing that matters in this. Fucking go crazy, go nuts, and explode. It's only fucking about you. This is the fucking Isiah show.
And you took that as let me fuck the grass.
Yeah, so I don't have sex to the floor. That's exactly what I thought.
I was channeling my best Paul Heyman when I was trying to motivate him to like fire up after that.
RJ, you did mention to me prior that you had some questions about him fucking the grass.
It's just a really inspired character choice. Yeah. It's in shades of Big Daddy V in a sense. You know, there's an energy within inside you, and it reminds me of another wonderful film, Blue Velvet, where Anthony, what's his name? Oh Lord, I forgot his name. The guy from Blue Velvet. He's got the gas mask on.
Blue Velvet and that little boy's eyes.
The wonderful, horrible catchphrase from that is anything that moves. And that, you know, I feel like you were giving off that energy. You were love and lust embodied.
He was orgasmic Isiah.
Yeah.
I mean, they got moans. I mean, that moan is
And there's no audio treating on that moan echo?
No, that was legit.
Wow.
Yeah,
well, that's impressive.
Yeah,
that was legit. It's a technique, you know.
And that's a thing that you don't realize when you're doing it on the ramp at Dynamite.
Right.
So I think next time you should say, everybody, be quiet. Okay. I want you to hear how good this is. You do it without the mic, they hear the echo, then they go nuts. That was
supersonic. Yeah, I mean that I know. I mean, you've talked about it a lot on this podcast. You've talked about it to me that giving Zay a moment to really shine here was something that was very important to you. So how did that moment come about? When did you come up with that moment? And I'm sure hitting the greatest hits, right? I knew you'd come. That was something that had to be right at the forefront for you.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of the first things we talked about whenever we were putting this thing together. I mean, we were looking. I mean, we had some other spots that would have been magical that just didn't end up getting in here, but we can always save them the next time. But this was definitely a big moment because in the beginning, in the early discussions of this match, they were talking about being a 6-man, and Isiah wasn't necessarily in there. And like one thing, myself and Ethan, we were very adamant, like Isiah needs to be in this because he's been such an integral part of the story, and like we definitely want him to be in it. So you know that all worked out that he was in it, and I was like, okay, well let's like definitely shine him up and give him a moment. I mean, because he's been You know, he's been one of the backbones of the story. You know, it's been me, him, and Ethan more than anything else.
Let's keep going here. So now we are down to Stokely being wheeled into the Dome of Deletion by Senor Benjamin.
Is this Senior Benjamin hat a shoot hat or a working hat?
It's a shoot hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a shoot hat.
This is him fresh off using Sunday, correct, Matt?
Correct. Fresh off using Sunday.
And is that chair an antique?
It is. My wife gets so hot anytime I have somebody actually use it because it was like so expensive and it's so valuable as an antique. Just like, brother, it's the chair of wheels. Yeah.
So quick fact, I came in, right? Maxo was nonstop practicing swantons. Like he was just going back. He's just kept doing it over and over and over and over and over. I'm like, what's your game plan? He's like, I'm going to hit Stokely with it. So he's been practicing the swantons.
I think it's very smart of you, Matt, to make sure your son doesn't do the leg drop.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you did him a real favor.
I said, brother, roll all you can. I want you to be able to walk like a normal human being when you're 48.
Maxwell Hardy will be in a wheelchair by the time he's 27 years old, Matt Hardy.
He'll be
so yes, Maxwell, I mean, full embodiment of the Hardy Boys right here. And
also, too, bam. I love that he rolled off of him. Look, he had a little superhero pose. Rebby did a great twist of fate, too, considering she hadn't done it so long. She's like, she didn't fucking practice. She didn't warm up. She's like, I don't even know if I can do this shit. She was like an old timer, like Fit Finley's like, oh, sure. All right, I'll see you out there, brother. She just went out and hit it, but it fucking looked great.
And wearing the incorrect shoes for this.
Of course she was, yeah.
Here's the thing about Rebby Hardy. She pretends that she's not a Matt Hardy mark, but deep down, she's the biggest Matt Hardy mark out there. So she could step right into that.
But of course.
She has to be to put up this shit on a daily basis.
You're right. Hallelujah, my brother.
Max, let's go audio up for his big moment.
Okay, you got the juice. Okay, all right.
Maxwell, you did good, buddy. It's time for bed. All right, let's go. Come on.
What the hell are you laughing at?
That's some funny stuff, man.
I hate that got cut from the final version of this because I thought that was so great with Caprice and Stokely.
Yeah, that was. I do too. There's a lot of stuff that I wish would have been on the TV version. I wish it would just given us the last 30 minutes of Rampage.
Yeah.
Do you have any explanation what went in the final cut and what didn't?
I did not. I like this cut is kind of like I got to see the first version of it, and then I gave a ton of notes.
Yeah.
I was like, boom, 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 ton of notes, and it ended up being pretty close to the stuff that I'd suggested and whatnot. And yeah, it was good. But like as far as what was on TV, I don't know. There were a lot of people not in the loop. Only like a couple people in Nashville. I knew the scenes that were going to be in, so I could like promote it or whatever. But I didn't know exactly what was going to make it and what wasn't on television.
Matt, seeing Maxwell hit that swanton on TV compared to where Maxwell was 7 years ago as a baby in these first broken matches, how'd that feel for you?
I mean, it was cool. It was super proud as a dad, right? And he took a lot of pride in doing it. And it's so funny because he's really a little more interested in wrestling, and he gets the whole art behind the stuff, and it's crazy because, like I said, there's going to be a point where someone's going to say, brother, you need to pay your dues. He's like, bitch, I've been paying my dues since I'm 0 years old. He's going to have some good lines in the future because he literally has been. He's been doing stuff. He pinned Disco Inferno when he was zero years old.
Couldn't have happened to a better guy, as far as I see it.
Yeah, well, that's what I did. I got him up the next morning and made him clean up the whole compound.
Yeah. You got on video, too.
Pay your dues, man. Let's keep going.
Is he aware that this is on TV? Does he understand the significance of being on TBS or TNT?
I think he does to a degree, but like what my son Wolfie, he was so excited. He said, "Is this going to be on YouTube?" Because that's what he listens to us for. It's going to be on TV. That's okay, but as long as it's on YouTube, that's great.
Conversely, my mother doesn't care about anything I do that's on YouTube. It needs to be on a TV. It needs to be seen on a treadmill at the gym for her to care.
And I feel like too they trimmed a lot of that out. I wish they would have left because Isaiah beat the shit out of Big Bill there.
The fuck out of Big Bill.
Maybe Big Bill made some calls.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm beating the fuck out of Big Bill, yo.
He said Zay beat me up a little too much. It makes me look weak, brother.
They cut that shit. Yo.
But I mean, just the way your form was slapping on his chest was crazy.
And I mean, it is tremendous that Hook has had his hood on the entire time.
Yeah.
It's very impressive, actually.
What a cool ass! It just never comes off.
I think he has it pinned into his hair, to be honest.
Maybe.
Boom. Look at the
Zay's doing the leg drop instead of Maxwell.
Yeah.
Now this, is a coming out party for you, a seminal moment in your career. Brand new outfit.
I think so.
Do you think it'll influence your character going forward?
I don't know. I feel like Broken Zay or Brother Zay or Orgasmic Isaiah, I feel like he's going to come out when he has to, when he needs to. I don't think it's going to be an everyday occurrence.
Yeah.
When I need to bring him out,
yeah.
I think he'll come out.
I feel like, especially here in AEW.
Yeah.
We know that if you need Zay to come, Zay will come.
Yeah. Not long.
All right, it's comeuppance time, Matt Hardy.
Yep. Yeah. Boom.
That was a nice punch.
Dude, this Caprice is the man.
Yeah. Oh,
boom.
Enzo Gary with Timberlands on, by the way.
It's impressive.
Boom.
Very.
I think from the very beginning when we started talking about this match happening, this is kind of how I saw the whole finish going down. Like Ethan getting his just deserves from everyone.
And did you prepare your dialogue, or did you just let it flow?
I roughly knew what I was going to say there because I feel like that line that I delivered is going to play a big part in the story going forward, I think, too. So it was important to get that in.
I was laughing.
That was a crouton bomb right there.
I tried to. Oh my god, that was hilarious.
And the firm has been deleted.
Yeah, you've ate one of those croutons, right?
Oh man,
woo! Croutons, man.
Celebration for the victors.
And then the other two refs have been told to leave.
Well,
yeah, we told him to get the fuck out.
I guess so. Yeah.
Now Jeff, being Jeff, has gone off on his own.
Yeah, of course, going into business for himself, per usual.
I do feel like this is nice because Jeff has been uncharacteristically normal this whole match.
Yeah.
Laying the fire down.
I think a lot of the mindset too is even like, as Jeff was clear, but just to give his eye a little extra time after he had that eye surgery, just to come back in, have his first match be a cinematic match, just kind of like dip his toe into the water a little bit. So that worked out well. So I think at the end we wanted to give him a big moment, like it was his return to AEW, his return to action, and like just really highlight him in this moment.
A cool thing which they cut out too. He said like a nice little poem, like it was like a lengthy poem that he said, and it was nice, meaningful words. I'm kind of upset that they cut it out.
They did trim that some, right?
Oh yeah, he went off and he was saying like a whole bunch of stuff, and they kind of cut it. So.
That once was a man from Nantucket, like that.
He spoke from the heart.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, how meaningful do you think it was for Jeff to kind of be the last thing that we see out of this match here?
I mean, I think we're trying to tackle a couple different obstacles in this. I think one, we wanted to highlight Hook, we wanted to highlight Zay. We wanted to really keep the focus of the issue between me and Ethan, which was kind of like the core of this thing. And then we wanted to give Jeff like a big moment, like a happy welcome back to AEW moment. And I feel like we kind of accomplished all that.
Now, so every time I finish taping AEW, I hate it.
Right.
I hate myself. It's this horrible process I go through.
Yep.
People go, how'd you like it? I say, I have a horrible time.
Right.
Are you a fulfilled person when you finish? Like when you wrap on that?
When we wrapped, I felt good about a lot of the stuff we did, but because we had to change so much, like we were literally kind of rewiring all aspects of this contest. So in my head, I was like, I hope this is okay. I was like, God, I really wish we could have done it. And I felt so bad. Jeff like destroyed his hands building this Briar corner, the turnbuckle, and we didn't get to use it at all. So I felt real bad for him about that. You know, and there's other moments. The Willow moment. The Willow moment was going to be with Stokely, and I promise you, people would have pissed their pants in this moment. So I was really upset we didn't get that in. But you know, it is what it is. I was happy once I saw the first cut of it. I was like, okay, well, this is still pretty good. I think you go in to things like this, and you probably do as well, like with like these expectations. You want it to be just like, you know, this huge extravaganza and the greatest thing ever. But if it doesn't necessarily feel like it was like that, you're kind of disappointed. But I think sometimes that's what people that are really passionate about what they do, they go through that. I think it's normal, right?
Yes, I think so.
RJ, put on your critic hat for a second here. Give us your honest assessment of now having watched it back, having been given a chance to marinate a little bit in the Firm Deletion. What say you?
I think there are much more story points there than you first realized. I do think it's something that begs a repeat viewing. I know it's up on the AEW YouTube now, too. I think everyone should go back and settle in and watch it and do the Scorsese thing where when you hit play, you do not hit pause, you do not skip ahead, you let it unfold as the directors intended.
I like that.
Yeah. That would be my suggestion. And what would you pair it with if you have to have a snack?
What would I pair it with if you want to have a snack? I would
You
pair
got the whack ass snacks at your place, according to Stokely. So
cheap ass snacks.
Cheap ass
snacks. I would pair it with some chili.
Mm-hmm.
I would pair it with some chili, some nice cheese, onions.
Wow, some Doritos. Wow, the nacho cheese Doritos.
That's what you'd put it with?
That's what I'll put it with.
All right, I'd just put it with a little chili. Maybe I won't chili when I'm hungry.
So all told, I give it 4.5 Marty Garners out of 5.
I like it. 4.5 champagnes out of 5. Not bad.
Yeah. Can you put his head at the bottom there, John?
yeah, I'll throw some edits and we'll get 4.5 first name Shams, last name Paynes. I mean, this was a much easier day at the office for Champagne than facing Triple H on a random Superstars taping. I promise you that.
You know, there was talk that Ethan was about ready to give him a pedigree too. At one point, we talked about doing that.
What was the biggest scrapped idea where you're like, was there one that you said no to?
Oh, that I said no to. I'm sure there was. Do you have anything? Do you have anything you remember that was in there?
Oh, I asked for this crazy contrived spot at the end. Matt said, "Fuck you, no."
Oh yeah.
I was like, all right, bro.
Over the bench, yeah.
I was like, all right, bro, I left.
Yeah.
It worked out better though. The way he did, it worked out.
You gotta fill us in. What was it?
Nah, I can't really spoil. I don't want to say it. It was just really long. It was really long, and
some of the Ring of Honor bullshit.
Okay.
It was really long, and yeah, Matt just said "fuck off." I'm like, all right, but seeing the final product and what he envisioned, it came out way better.
Gotcha.
I was just trying to drive the story home, I think. You know, and it's funny, I used to say that back when we were doing WF, right when Ring of Honor first started, and it was obviously there was nothing like it, right? You had these guys over there having these incredible wrestling matches, doing all these, you know, with arm drags, leg sweep, boom, boom, this, that, and the other thing. There was a point where I would just say, what do you want to do in the beginning? Like some of that Ring of Honor shit? I would just, you know, if a guy that was a big wrestler or whatever, and I was just kind of like, that's what I would relate it to always.
But now we love Ring of Honor, which is on Honor Club, of course, that everyone can go subscribe to.
Well, of course we do. I mean, you can go watch some of that Ring of Honor shit that they do. It's fucking, they go nonstop.
It's great. This has been great. RJ, we're very appreciative of you joining us to break down the Firm Deletion. And do you have any suggestions for maybe the next installment in the saga of what you'd like to see?
Yes, I want to see one legitimately live.
Oh yeah, and now I'm going to bring you in as the host. You're going to be the host.
That would be great. I would be very excited. I want to have the AEW set. It's just really 2 signs. It's not really a problem.
I would love for you to co-host it with Mark Summers, RJ. That would
He's fantastic. I saw him do Double Dare Live, and he's wonderful. But no, I'm serious. I do want to see Paul Roma in it.
I love that.
He's around. I just want to see you explain it to him.
I would love nothing more.
He's in Massachusetts, right?
I think he's in New York or maybe New Jersey.
Who's to say? They're all the same.
A wrestling company, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Who's to say? We could get Paul Roma in here. Zay, this has been great as well. Having you here, man. Congratulations on all the success that you've been achieving with the Hardy Party, and I'm excited to see what comes of you and Matt and Jeff. It's going to be great. Oh, it's maybe some trios gold in the future here. Could be. What is?
I love to hear it.
We love to hear it.
I think it's possible.
I think it's possible as well. I also think it's possible for anyone who wants to get involved with the extreme life of Matt Hardy. Head on over to advertisewithhardy.com. Promote your business to the extreme. Get your product or your business out in front of thousands of listeners and viewers every single week here on the extreme life of Matt Hardy. Matt and I are here all the time. Matt and I were supposed to talk about Kevin Owens this week. For the second year in a row, Kevin Owens got bumped. So next week, Matt, we are going to be talking about the Macho Man, Randy Savage, perhaps the most influential wrestler on Matt Hardy's upbringing. And
Very true.
What can people look forward to with that one?
Yeah, I'm all about it, man. Macho Man was a very inspirational figure to me, for sure. I mean, I was attracted to him initially because he had this larger-than-life personality. I was all about it back when, not everyone had like a crazy voice and was wearing the crazy outfit. They usually had these characters, but like he had the raspy voice, and to top everything off, his finisher was an elbow drop off the top rope. So like me and Jeff, we were all in on Macho Man.
He also did a really good episode of the Jeff Foxworthy show.
I guess we'll just have to talk about that.
That's my fact.
That's a hell of a good fact. It's a nice article fact.
This has been great. Seriously, thank you guys so much. Make sure you leave those 5-star reviews for us here on the Extreme Life of Matt Hardy. Matt, anything else you'd like to add, my friend?
No, that was great. Thank you very much for coming here live via satellite.
Nice.
I mean, it looks like they're here. It's great. They're like holograms, live via satellite.
AI is really incredible these days.
I just don't know how we're all going to fit in the same bed.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll make it work.
It'll be fun.
We'll make it work.
Isiah, can you give us a good moan here as we go out?
That was cool. Like that.
I mean, you're in a hotel room with a couple other guys.
I'll do it loud if you want me to.
Yeah. Go ahead, hit loud enough. There we go. Yeah, that's it.
The words have been spoken. And the
penetration went down next room.
And now I'm going to leave this room and look at the person next door and be like,
welcome, Shane.
The moans have been given. The words have been spoken. We'll see you next week right here on the Life of Matt Hardy.
Adios.